Today in Israel, there are more than 200,000 elderly Holocaust survivors. Shockingly, most of them are living below the poverty line. Instead of them being honored in their old age, making sure that they enjoy the few years they have left, most of them are struggling to survive. You'll hear their story today on Jewish Voice. Shalom and welcome to Jewish Voice, a program to help you to understand the Jewish roots of your Christian faith, Bible prophecy, and world events surrounding Israel. Now, none of us can forget the horrific images captured in numerous photos and film footage of the 6 million Jews who suffered and died in ghettos and concentration camps during the Holocaust. Often entire families were wiped out, others left with only one survivor to tell the world what happened there. Sadly, many of these Holocaust survivors are poverty-stricken in their old age. While the Israeli government provides some assistance, it's just not enough. They can't afford enough food to live healthy lives or even pay rent. They can't afford prescription glasses, dental work, or other medical needs. Having miraculously survived unspeakable ordeals as children and young adults, now in the sunset of their lives, many of them feel forgotten. They're battling not only poverty, but also acute loneliness. As believers, we need to help. Joining me now, all the way from Israel, are two people who are determined to help these Holocaust survivors. Leah Shem Tov, a former deputy speaker of the Knesset, and Albert Wexler, CEO of Israel Empowerment Lobby. Please welcome Leah Shem Tov and Albert Wexler. Albert, great to have you. Leah, welcome. It's so good to have you. Очень приятно. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Leah, you just finished your term as a deputy speaker in the Knesset 5 days ago, in fact, as of this taping. I hate to say former, but I believe you'll be back in the Knesset. I'm not sure that everyone who's watching knows what the Knesset is, believe it or not. So can you explain the Knesset to us?
Шалом.
Shalom.
Я объясню, что такое Кнессет.
I will explain what is Knesset.
Это израильский парламент,
It's the parliament of Israel,
где заседают 120 депутатов Кнессета.
where we have 120 Knesset members.
Министры, они тоже состоят в этих 120 депутатах.
The ministers of the government are also part of that 120.
А что в основном в парламенте? В парламенте дискутируют.
What is actually done in the parliament? Usually people discuss very important issues.
В парламенте проводят очень важные законы.
In the parliament you basically legislate very important laws.
В парламенте проводят разные вопросы, касающиеся, вот сегодня мы будем говорить про людей, переживших катастрофу.
And parliament discusses issues like we're going to be discussing today, the situation of the
It is
Holocaust
the
survivors.
governing body for the state of Israel.
Это как тело, которое правит в Израиле.
Да.
I want to move right into the plight of survivors of the Holocaust living in Israel. And I understand there's about 200,000 of them. What made you an advocate? What drew you to be an advocate for these people?
Это очень серьезная тема,
This is a very serious subject,
и я занимаюсь этой темой уже много лет.
and I've been dealing with these issues already many years.
Я второе поколение переживших катастрофу.
I'm the second generation of the ones who have suffered through the Holocaust.
У меня мои родители, мои дедушки и бабушки, они прошли эти ужасы войны.
My parents, my grandparents, they went through these terrible events of the war.
Моего дедушку забрали в армию, а бабушка осталась с 7 детьми.
The grandfather was taken to the army, then the grandmother was left behind with 7 small children.
Они бежали от немцев,
They fled from the Nazi Germans.
бежали в Сибирь, бежали на Урал, бежали в Среднюю Азию.
They fled to Siberia, they fled to the Central Asia.
И 4 из них выжило.
Only 4 of them survived.
Выжила и приехала в Израиль.
They survived and they made it to Israel.
Таких случаев очень много.
We have many of such cases.
Таких людей очень много.
We have many of these people.
К сожалению, каждый день эти люди уходят от нас.
But it's very sad to say today many of them are leaving us.
И сегодня в Израиле 200 тысяч человек, переживших катастрофу.
Today we have like 200,000 of those who have
И это
been
моя задача, и
victims
это
of
задача
Holocaust.
каждого из нас
And this is
помочь
my task
помочь этим людям.
and task of all of us to help them.
Well, we want to do that, and I'm so glad you came on the program today. Tell us about the plight of the 200,000 that remain. And I understand they're dying about one every 20 minutes or something. I mean, they're dying very quickly, and we have limited time to help them. Talk about their plight, the survivors living in Israel today.
И поэтому в Израиле около 200 тысяч человек, из которых 80 тысяч беженцев и эвакуированных, которые живут сегодня на маленьком пособии. Жизнь, она дорожает, пособие, оно не увеличивается.
We have 200,000 of the Holocaust survivors. We also have these 80,000 who were fleeing, the victims of the Holocaust. They were fleeing from the Nazi army. And they get this government support, but the life is getting more and more expensive, and they're not having enough to really cope with their situation.
Albert, I want you to add to this. You have you're the CEO of a lobby group.
Yes.
And you've been drawn to be an advocate for these people as well.
We see my mother basically comes from the same background like Leah's parents. My mom was evacuated from Leningrad, and they went through very, very difficult situations. They were taken to Kirov. She was a very young girl at that time. So whenever I see these elderly people, Jonathan, I see my grandparents before my eyes. And whenever I see their suffering, it's, I believe, our last chance to do something for them, to help these people, because we just cannot let them go into eternity in this shape. We just cannot.
It's hard to believe, though, in a modern country like Israel, that there's these people that suffered so horribly are living under the poverty line. They can't get the dental needs met. They can't get prescription glasses. They're just too expensive, or...
Дело в том, что правительство Израиля, оно помогает этим людям.
The government of Israel is actually helping to these people.
Но помогает недостаточно.
But it's just that the help is not enough.
Так как в основном бюджет идет на оборону страны.
You see, our defense budget is so high.
Правительство Германии частично поддерживает переживших катастрофу.
Now the German government also does help some way the Holocaust survivors.
Но только тех, которые были в лагерях и в концлагерях.
But they make the distinction. They help only those who were in the camps or in the ghettos.
И я хочу вас спросить.
And I want just to ask.
Если беременная женщина в концлагере родила ребенка
If a pregnant girl
в ужасных условиях,
birth to a child in the camp in terrible conditions,
а другая беременная женщина, которая бежала от немцев,
but another pregnant girl that was running from the Nazi army,
и родила на углевом заводе этого ребенка,
gave birth in equally ugly situation, her child in some coal factory, for example.
И у него в метрике написано «Газпром 202».
And in the birth certificate it says Gazprom 22 as the birthplace.
Чем эти двое детей отличаются?
Can you tell me what's the difference between these two children?
Этот ребенок выжил, и этот ребенок выжил.
Let's say this child survived and the other child survived.
Его мать не сошла с ума, и его мать не сошла с ума.
The mother of the first child didn't go crazy, and the second child's mother didn't go crazy either.
Но, к сожалению, правительство Германии одному да помогает, а другому нет.
But the German government is helping to the first mother and not helping to the second mother.
Well, there's no question these people have suffered terribly, and they're worthy of our help. Albert, what are some of the things that people that are watching can do to help? I know we have many people that watch Jewish Voice, that love the Jewish people, love Israel, and they want to help?
Jonathan, you see, we have been doing several projects. We've done different outreaches, and one of the projects was that we gave warm coats, for the winter to the elderly. That was something we did. Now, during the last war in Gaza, many invalids were not able to get out of their homes. Can you imagine in Ashdod, there were 50 rockets, missiles, coming in every day. Of course, the Iron Dome intercepted 90%, but the 10% was still coming in, and there was a danger. And so these invalids, they didn't go out of their homes. So we went in right after the war, and we brought them the food packages. Myself and Leah, we were part of a big distribution of help to the elderly and the Holocaust survivors in the south, in Ashdod, where we could be able to distribute the food cards to them. They were very thankful. And that's another thing that Leah is actually doing. She has started a project that would record the stories of those who fled, of those who had to go through these difficult stories and things that she was mentioning.
Unspeakable horrors. Well, one of the things that we've been talking about that we want to undertake at Jewish Voice, because God has graced us with a great team of doctors and dentists, we want to bring a team of dentists over to Israel to meet some of the dental needs of these people that so desperately need our help. They need dentures, they need the more complex work, dental work, and we want to work with some labs in Israel to provide this much-needed dental care. There's so much that we can do, and you can help us to do that. There's a Bible promise that's just as true today as it was when it was spoken in the time of Abraham in Genesis. I will bless those that bless the descendants of Abraham. And I can't think of a better blessing than to help people that have suffered so greatly and are in such need today. Albert, thank you so much for what you're doing. Leah, we are with you, and we'll talk more about getting this clinic organized. And thank you for those of you that have been helping the Jewish people through Jewish Voice, and for those that will in the future. We'll be right back.
Jewish Voice is dedicated to proclaiming the gospel, the good news that Yeshua, Jesus, is the Messiah, to the Jew first and also to the nations. One way we do this is by helping some of the most impoverished and needy Jewish people in the world, people who often die from medical conditions that here in the West could be easily treated. Even more important than the physical relief our medical help provides is the fact that our practical demonstration of His love opens the door for us to share the good news. Today, we are just weeks away from our next medical clinic in Ethiopia to help the impoverished Jewish community there. Our volunteer medical professionals will provide medical care, dental care, and eye care, all free of charge to thousands of men, women, and children, many of whom have never even seen a doctor or dentist. Will you help these precious people? Every gift, large or small, will make a difference in someone's life. As you respond with a gift of $40 or more, we will send you this book, A Rose from the Ashes, along with its DVD, Rose Price, Holocaust Journey to Forgiveness. With this book and DVD, you'll discover the inspirational and heartfelt story of Rose Price, a Holocaust survivor. How Rose was able to miraculously survive being imprisoned in 5 Nazi death camps, and how Rose was able to forgive her captors after she accepted Yeshua as her Messiah. In addition, we'll also send you the History of Jewish Persecution pamphlet, which is written as an abbreviated historic timeline. As you study it, you'll be stunned to learn just a little about the persecution that the Jewish people have suffered from 70 AD to present day. Please call, click, or write now, and please be as generous as possible. When you respond, you'll be providing life-saving medical help to very needy Jewish people. And you will also receive A Rose from the Ashes book, the Rose Price Holocaust Journey to Forgiveness DVD, and the History of Jewish Persecution pamphlet, 3 ministry resources that will bless and inspire you. And they'll also be a constant reminder of your partnership with us to demonstrate His love. Thank you.
On today's program, we're bringing attention to the more than 200,000 Holocaust survivors living in Israel today, most of whom are living in dire circumstances below the poverty line. Take a look.
Shalom. Shabbat.
שלום. שלום.
Shalom.
שלום לכם.
מה שלומך?
מה שלומך? לא שומע.
מה שלומך?
תודה רבה. מה נשמע?
נעים מאוד, אני אורלי.
גיא.
אסתר,
נעים מאוד.
אני מכיר אתכם מהטלוויזיה. אני מסתכלת טלוויזיה וספורט והכל מעניין אותי.
לפני 20 שנה נפטר בעלה. לפני 3 שנים מושתל בליבה קוצב לב. אף פעם לא היה קל, אבל היא שורדת. תמיד הייתה. היא שעברה את אושוויץ, את טרזנשטט, ואיבדה את כל משפחתה שם. יודעת כאב מהו. זה רק העלבון, שלא נותן מנוח. אסתר, למה את לא הולכת עם מכשיר שמיעה שיעזור לך לשמוע?
מה?
זה לא יוצא לי לדברים האלה.
למה?
מה זאת אומרת?
מאיפה? מה3,000 שקל? מה אתם יכולים לעזור לי?
בגיל 88 אסתר נאלצת לשבת לפעמים יממות בלי לזוז. אין מי שיעזור לה ללכת. עזרה זה כסף, וכסף אין. כבר 4 שנים אסתר לא יצאה מהבית.
אין לי פנסיה, שום דבר. ככה שיש לי מביטוח לאומי קצת, ויש לי מהאוצר, היא הקטן.
למה זה מספיק?
בטח שלא מספיק, לא. נעליים של גבר 40 שקל. אבל מהביטוח לאומי הם יודעים טוב מאוד את המצב שלי. ויש עוד דבר אחד, שאני ביישנית. זה, למי שביישנית זה נשאר עם הארנק ריק, איך אומרים. עכשיו מיום ליום יותר קשה, אבל זה מה שיש. זה מה שיש. יום רביעי מה שעבר בא גנב ואני הייתי בכיסא והרדמתי והוא מסתובב בכל מקום, היה מחפש אבל אין זכר ואין שום דבר. אז בשולחן היה לי את הכסף 87 שקל, זה לקח. ומאז עכשיו אני כבר עוד פעם אשתדל לסגור את הדלת, ואם אני נופלת, עוד פעם.
We'll be right back.
Jewish Voice is dedicated to proclaiming the gospel, the good news that Yeshua, Jesus, is the Messiah, to the Jew first and also to the nations. One way we do this is by helping some of the most impoverished and needy Jewish people in the world, people who often die from medical conditions that here in the West could be easily treated. Even more important than the physical relief our medical help provides is the fact that our practical demonstration of His love opens the door for us to share the good news. Today, we are just weeks away from our next medical clinic in Ethiopia to help the impoverished Jewish community there. Our volunteer medical professionals will provide medical care, dental care, and eye care, all free of charge to thousands of men, women, and children, many of whom have never even seen a doctor or dentist. Will you help these precious people? Every gift, large or small, will make a difference in someone's life. As you respond with a gift of $40 or more, we will send you this book, A Rose from the Ashes, along with its DVD, Rose Price, Holocaust Journey to Forgiveness. With this book and DVD, you'll discover the inspirational and heartfelt story of Rose Price, a Holocaust survivor. How Rose was able to miraculously survive being imprisoned in 5 Nazi death camps. And how Rose was able to forgive her captors after she accepted Yeshua as her Messiah. In addition, we'll also send you the History of Jewish Persecution pamphlet, which is written as an abbreviated historic timeline. As you study it, you'll be stunned to learn just a little about the persecution that the Jewish people have suffered from 70 AD to present day. Please call, click, or write now, and please be as generous as possible. When you respond, you'll be providing life-saving medical help to very needy Jewish people. And you will also receive A Rose from the Ashes book, the Rose Price Holocaust Journey to Forgiveness DVD, and the History of Jewish Persecution pamphlet, 3 ministry resources that will bless and inspire you. And they'll also be a constant reminder of your partnership with us to demonstrate His love. Thank you.
For over 45 years now, Jewish Voice has been conducting outreaches to Jewish communities in places like India, Ethiopia, and Zimbabwe, and literally hundreds of people like you have been volunteers on these outreaches. Since 2010, we've been going to Manipur, India, to the B'nai Menashe. This is perhaps the lost tribe of Menashe. We've been providing medical care, dental care, eye care, even eye surgery completely free of charge. But most importantly, we share the gospel. Here's a closer look at who these amazing people are.
And we're here in a little town called Chirachampur in Manipur, India, which is in the way far northeastern quadrant up near Burma. We've brought 30 some odd healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, dentists, and we've also hired about 150 local volunteers to help us set up a 1-week clinic in this hospital.
Jewish Voice sent out over 30 medical professionals, support staff, and prayer volunteers to reach this lost tribe of Israel, lost to the world, but not to God. In our short time there, and with your help, Jewish Voice was able to reach more than 6,400 people with medical help and with the good news of Yeshua, Jesus, their Messiah.
I feel that this is taking part in prophecy, and I feel so blessed to be a part of it, that we can be a part of living in prophecy, that the times that we are living in are so special because God is recalling His people back to Himself, and that not only spiritually but physically as well, that He's calling the people, Jewish people, tribes from all over the world back to Israel, but at the same time calling them spiritually back to Himself. And that's where we come in, when we can share the good news of Yeshua with them and share that He has come as reigning King in their hearts, that they can receive that now as well as go back to Israel, and that we can be a part in sharing that with them.
A lot of people ask me why I do this. They say it's crazy when you could be in your comfortable bed, but I couldn't not do it. When you see the people's faces, when you've ministered to somebody or pulled a tooth that saved a life, or when you're at the exit gate and the little ladies come up and hug you and they're so blessed. You know, I can't not come. I'm compelled to come. If you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, if you're a dentist, if you're an eye specialist, the need is so great. So please consider coming. We would love to have you.
What an amazing experience. If you want to volunteer for one of our outreaches, just send us an email. You can send the email to outreach@jvmi.org. That's outreach@jvmi.org. We'll be right back.
Coming this summer, July 13th through July 20th, join Jonathan Burness and his family on a spectacular Alaskan cruise. With a theme of Israel, the feasts, and the last days, you'll experience teachings with Jonathan Burness, musical performances from Maurice Sklar, and additional guest speakers and musicians will be joining us in some of the most breathtaking and rugged scenery in the world. To register now, call Jabez Travel at 1-888-435-3787. This is a voyage you won't want to miss. Be sure to join us in beautiful Alaska.
Since 1967, Jewish Voice has been dedicated to proclaiming the good news that Yeshua, Jesus, is Messiah and Savior to the Jew first and also to the nations. One way we do this is by helping some of the most impoverished and needy Jewish people in the world. We've been able to demonstrate God's love by providing these people with medical care, dental care, eye surgeries, all completely free of charge. But most importantly, we share the gospel, and it's through your financial support that we are able to make a difference in their lives. Now, as our way of saying thank you, I'd like to send you this incredibly moving book by a dear friend. It's called A Rose from the Ashes, along with a DVD called Rose Price, Holocaust Journey to Forgiveness. Both the book and the DVD tell the life story of Rose Price, who was a Holocaust survivor who as a young girl was imprisoned in a Nazi death camp, actually 5 death camps, and she survived to recount in painful detail her unimaginable suffering after the Nazis invaded her homeland of Poland. Her physical survival was miraculous, yet even more miraculous was her ability to supernaturally forgive her enemies after she accepted Jesus, Yeshua, as her Messiah decades later. This is an incredible, inspiring story that will grip your heart. It dramatically illustrates what it really means to forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now, along with the book and the DVD, I also want to send you an informative timeline that documents the history of Jewish persecution. It starts in 70 AD and then goes throughout history. So we want to get these materials to you. Hey, by the way, we're on Facebook now. You can check us out by going to facebook.com/Jewish Voice. Just go to facebook.com/Jewish Voice. Well, we're out of time once again. As I leave you today, I want to remind you, as I always do, to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. The Bible promises they shall prosper that love thee. This is Jonathan Burness saying shalom, and God bless you.
Jewish Voice is made possible by the support of friends and partners like you.